Hey Maniacs, just a quick listener's note about this episode. The episode we're going to talk about this week, Father Brown, Season 1, Episode 3, The Wrong Shape, deals with themes of suicide and infant death. We are not going to dwell on these topics, but if you're especially sensitive, you might want to take care while listening. And now, on with the show.
Farmer's like,
He's just jumping. Hey, Maniacs.
Hey, Maniacs.
It's Mystery Maniacs.
Mystery Maniacs is a comedy recap podcast dedicated to mystery TV. Every week we dig into an episode of a show, including the murders, the mayhem, the loonies, and everything else we love. This week, Father Brown, The Wrong Shape, Season 1, Episode 3. I am Mark.
I'm Sarah. Ooh, this is a heavy episode. We're going to do our very best not to dwell on any of the darker themes.
Yes.
You know how we do.
Yep.
We choose the stuff that is okay to make fun of, and then we make a whole hell of a lot of fun of it. And that's
Yes.
what we're going to do.
And this is a spoiler podcast, and if you let your kids watch the show, boy, there would be a lot of questions if a young kid watched this show and then listen.
This episode, yeah.
Can listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's November, the time where we start to slow down a little.
Just like last week, I'm looking outside. The leaves are orange and red and yellow and beautiful. Halloween is put away. I'm ready to start baking cookies and thinking about Christmas presents.
I have my new favorite hoodie on that I don't take off anymore.
It's like your Whoopi hoodie now.
It's my Whoopi hoodie.
Like your security hoodie.
Oh, I like that.
I've never known you to have a piece of clothing that you wore that often.
It's wonderful.
I've got my around the house cardigan that I have on right now.
Yeah.
That I like because it's got pockets, but it's got big holes in the elbows, so I can't wear it to work.
This is also my favorite kind of weather because I'm crazy Canadian, because I can wear shorts and a sweater.
Because you're weird.
It's awesome.
You're so weird. Are you ready to talk about The Wrong Shape?
Yes. Original air date, the 16th of January. So 2013. So all 5 of the first episodes were shown in a week. Like they showed them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night.
So this was Wednesday night?
This was Wednesday.
This was the midweek. Woof. That was a tough one.
Yep. Directed by Dominic Keevy and written by Nicola Wilson. This is once again one of the stories, but I read
based on an original story from the Father Brown series.
Yeah, I read the first page of it and I was like, this has nothing to do with this story.
I do not envy the writers having to try to pick and choose bits and pieces from one of those original stories and shoehorn them into this series.
And get this into Kembleford and get Lady Felicia and Mrs. M
in there. Yeah. And this one I think was probably especially challenging. The themes in it are important, but they're just not our kind of themes.
Yeah.
But there's enough Looney Toony bits and pieces in here that we're going to have some fun with this.
This is definitely them trying to figure out theme.
Yeah, well, tone.
Yeah, tone, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the show that it is now in season 11.
No. But if you're a Midsummer fan, which if you're not, hello, you should be.
Yeah.
You probably saw some familiar faces.
Yeah.
So Ramon Tikaram, who plays Umesh Varna in this,
Yes.
he was in season 18, episode 4 of Midsummer, A Dying Art.
Yes.
Where he played a very fancy artist.
Yes.
And then Ruth Gemmell or Gemmell, I'm not
He
sure.
gets killed in that, doesn't he? He's the one who gets hung up on the wires, I think.
I don't remember.
Okay.
All I know is he's having an affair with somebody and he's rather cold-hearted about it.
Yeah.
And he wears a scarf.
Great actor.
Ruth Gemmell or Gemmell, who plays Martha in this episode, was in 2 Midsummers.
Okay.
One in season 9, The House in the Woods.
Okay.
And then again in season 17, A Vintage Murder.
Is she one of the people who gets killed at the first of Season in the Woods?
No.
House in the Woods?
No.
Okay.
She's actually in the episode. She's not just a cameo dead person at the beginning.
Okay.
Lately, she's been in Bridgerton. So if people
Yeah.
watch Bridgerton, they probably have seen a lot of her. I tried Bridgerton. I could not get into it. I know people really love it, but... And then Robert Kavanaugh...
I don't have a problem with it. I just don't like shows like
You
that.
don't like period dramas like that.
Yeah, and the whole, like, some people are like, it's period, but they play crazy music and stuff. I'm like, I've seen a Baz Luhrmann joint. I don't mind it at all.
No, that's not it.
That's not it.
It's just not, the plots are not my kind of plots.
No, they're not. No.
And then Robert Cavanaugh, who plays Leonard, was in A Midsummer in season 23. He was in the Black Trees Prophecy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So some familiar faces.
Yes.
As soon as I saw Umesh Varma at the very beginning, I'm like, Midsummer! Plus, who prunes trees wearing white?
I don't. He sits.
He sits in the grass wearing white.
When he sits-
even gets wet wearing white, and he still stays clean and tidy the whole episode. I don't know how he does it.
When he's making the little altar thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're sitting on grass, dude, in those white pants.
Grass stains galore.
Yeah.
And this is when bleach was bleach.
This is what we think about when watching these episodes.
You're gonna ruin your clothes, dude.
So this is the typical cold opening. Run. Sir Leonard, Mr. Leonard, sir, Mr. Leonard, sir. I saw something terrible. What did you see?
We think it's gonna be a body.
Yes.
No, you're gonna die later.
You're going to die later today. Ah, okay. Then it goes into the beginning. So
Father Brown is auditioning new organists for the church. That's gotta be painful.
So I did want to say that this part reminded me a lot of what my mother sounds like when she sings in church.
I think there's just a certain age of lady who sounds just like that when they sing in church.
It's a certain age. Now
loud and proud and out of key.
Yep. And that hymn, I didn't look up the number because that melody is used in at least 2 or 3 different hymns. Mm-hmm. That's the great Anglican church tradition of, we got this hymn that we like the sound of.
Let's put some
So
different
we'll put
words to it.
5 different sets of music words to it.
Well, then the organist
whatever.
only has to learn
Yeah.
one song.
Yes.
It's handy. It's efficient, Mark.
It is. And I know he's Catholic, but I was raised in the Anglican church. So.
Catholic light.
Catholic. It's very much Catholic light.
Well, as soon as Lady Felicity shows up and says, want to go to a poetry reading, he's like, yep. I'm out of here. Any excuse. What's her name? Mrs. Pettiford or
something like that?
The little old lady?
Yeah.
I'm like, she won a contest. They ask for local organists because she can clearly play.
Yeah.
But she's playing off rhythm on purpose and singing. Her little hat and everything.
So the Leonard wants Father Brown to come because he has a secret.
No, he just wants him to hear his horrible poetry.
And his wife, who is listed as a shut-in here, they say she's a shut-in.
And that she never leaves the house.
So then there's this strange mention of Lady Felicia's finishing school?
Yeah, because Violet, the mistress, says, I almost went to your finishing school, but my dad said I didn't have anything to learn. Slap her right there.
Okay, so
she needs to be slapped so many times.
Our principals arrive.
Trip her, knock her over. I don't care. Rip off her bindi dot. You don't wear a bindi dot and a 50s skirt with a big petticoat underneath it.
No.
That is not a cultural mashup that you should be sporting, lady.
Yes, with Madonna gloves.
That's true. She does have like a virgin gloves on.
Our principals, Father Brown,
Mrs. M, Lady Felicia.
Lady Felicia. But we have an important thing before we get there. They're going to the house and they're riding in the car. But who is driving the car?
Not Sid. I don't know who that guy is.
So she has 2 chauffeurs?
Or she has Sid and then she has the Sid fill-in when Sid's not around.
I guess. Where's Sid?
I don't know. That's what I said in my notes too. I'm like, where's Sid?
I have it highlighted in green here. Where is Sid?
If they're in the car, Sid should be driving.
Yes.
I do though, I know that this first season they're really struggling with tone and trying to shoehorn in the stories. But I love what they do right away with the competitive nature of the relationship between Lady Felicia and Mrs. M. Because Mrs. M wants to be Father Brown's favorite, and she's so judgy. And then Lady Felicia can just sweep in with her grace and style and upperclassness and take his attention away. And so they're constantly like snapping at each other. So Mrs. M says, "Oh, I'm sure it's one of your highfalutin cronies."
Yeah.
And then when Felicia says who it is, Mrs. M's like, "Oh, can I come too?"
Yeah.
I thought it was a highfalutin crony. I thought you wouldn't want to go.
So Jude told us that Mrs. M is the voice of the 50s.
Jude is, if you don't remember, she's one of the writers of the series that we interviewed a while back.
And then Lady Felicia is all like they're both listener viewer analogs.
Yeah.
Which is great because you get the dichotomy of the viewer and the listener in at the same time. Because that's all they're there for in this episode.
Yeah.
Because they don't contribute anything. They're there for facial reactions. In this episode, I noticed especially, there are a lot of Mrs. M and Lady Felicia
side by side, scowling.
Give the person a line, for gosh. And like all I could think of was, okay, so these situations, television and film is not done in real time, right?
Nor do they shoot the scenes in order.
They don't shoot the scenes in order. So Sorsha Cusack, that's her name, right?
Sorsha Cusack, yeah.
Sorsha Cusack has to sit in that room and look at the camera and go, until the director goes, "That's the one.
That's the one. That's the judgy scowl I want. That's what I was looking for." No, more snobby. No. More persnickety. Puckery face. There we go. Yes.
And that's not a funny bit that we're doing here. That goes on.
That's what she's doing.
That's
how
happens.
They filmed it. Yeah.
There's a reference to Christian Dior here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fashion designer.
He was actually alive, I think, at this point. So.
Didn't he live? No, that was Lagerfeld who lived for such a long time.
Yeah.
They meet Mr. Harris, the lawyer.
Yes.
And he hands Lady Felicia his card.
Did you see the date on the card?
That's his address.
No. Do you think it's his address? I thought it was the date of the founding of the firm.
1942?
1497.
Oh, it's got to be a street address.
Okay.
That would be like crotchets or something. It's going way back.
Monty's a client also.
Yeah. He hands her his card, and, we know Lady Felicia is always ogling the fancier men. He's fancy. Yeah. But then he turns her off completely with one phrase about Monty's wealth and how it's better to enjoy the spoils. I'm sure you've earned it. And she hands the card back.
Yeah.
Like, you can keep it, jerk.
Yeah. So at the house, there's the lawyer.
Mr. Harris. And then there's...
the mistress.
Yeah, Violet.
And then the Mr. and the Mrs.
And Varma. There's Martha and Leonard and Varma.
This is an episode that suffers from too few people.
It's very, very small cast.
Like
5 people.
Valentine doesn't have to go through many people before he gets the right one.
No, and it starts out with 5 people who are not regular characters, and one of them dies. So then it's down to 4. It's really pretty cut and dried.
Like Valentine.
It happens in an afternoon.
You could see Valentine thinking, he's like, well, Father Brown's the lead of the show.
So he didn't do it. Mrs. M isn't a killer. Lady Felicia has a hurt ankle, so it's not her.
No. Okay, so it has to be one of these other 4.
Yeah. They've been invited to the most traumatic, painful poetry reading ever. But yet there is a variety of methods of trauma and pain. It's not even like one flavor of awful.
And they are alone because the train from Paddington was canceled.
How many more people do you think were supposed to be there to hear this awful doggerel?
And like there are more trains from Paddington.
You know what? Those people, they lied. They said, the train's canceled. Sorry, can't come. Because they knew what they were in for, wouldn't you?
Okay, so...
Violet, I just shake her.
Okay.
Shake her.
Okay. Have you ever read poetry out loud in public before?
Yes.
Yes, we both have.
I took a poetry writing class
Yes.
that I barely passed. My poetry was better than Violet's. I can say that.
I read one poem in front of class and was told by the teacher that maybe I should stick to prose. I was much better at it.
Ouch. In front of everybody?
No. She was a great mentor and said, you did what I asked you to do, and you said you weren't going to be very good, and
you're not.
You should go back to prose.
You know yourself very well.
Prose is much better from you.
No, remember all my poetry was real angry?
Yes.
Like I wrote the one about the devil with the fanny pack and stuff.
Yes.
I was always just trying to lash out at people with my poetry. Violet's poem doesn't have any semblance of structure.
No.
The rhyme is loosey-goosey. I don't know if it's supposed to be couplets or not. It's all about her having sex with Leonard by the stream, which is offensive enough. But then it's so trite when she says that I can't help but fidget as I spy the band of gold wrapped around his digit. Like, did you use your rhyming thesaurus?
Before that, she goes, alas, alas.
Oh, gosh. I cannot take it back.
I have to tell you.
And compares them to otters frolicking in the sand like a ball on fire.
Yes.
What?
I have to tell you, the moment that she said buttocks, I immediately thought of Forrest Gump reading this poem.
Buttocks.
And it becomes much more interesting.
If he wrote it, it would be okay. Yeah. It would be funny. But she's taking herself really seriously. But like, what point is she trying to make?
Yeah.
She can't rub it in Martha's face anymore that she's sleeping with her husband and wishes they would get divorced.
So I went to a poetry reading in my undergrad. I just remembered this. And it was done by a guy who was a couple of years ahead of me in the English department. And everyone called him Moose. He's a very nice guy, super nice guy. And he wrote these list poems that were really interesting, like 3 things of this and 4 things of this. Like he wrote these structured poems around numbers and lists and things like that. He had a to-do poem too. But I remember there was a poetry reading that at least 2 and I think 3 women got up and left. Because Moose had outed things about them. Oh, in the poetry.
He was kissing and telling in his poetry. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it kind of gives the game away if you get up and leave. You may as well go, that one's about me. I'm out. There's no denying it then, is there?
Yeah.
So Violet's poem is lascivious at best. That's a flattering way to describe her poem. It's just schlock is what it is. Yeah. But then Leonard's poem, I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's visceral and painful because it's about the death of their child, about he and Martha's child.
All this poetry, even though
And wait a minute, I got to ask you, when you heard the poem the first time, do you remember how you reacted to his poem? Well, did you know what it was about when you heard it?
They did a very good job of making it sound sexual at first and then dark.
Yeah.
And that worked perfectly.
Well, there's something about some kind of hot white shooting.
Viscous.
And you're like, whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa. And then you're like, wait a minute, this just took a turn. What?
Father Brown.
Well, he knows what sex is, remember?
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, he knows. But it's whoever wrote both these poems did a great job because Violet's is wonderfully bad.
Yes.
And very well done as a bad poem.
Well, it upsets.
Maybe they got some high school students to write hers.
Like, it upsets Varma enough that he's like, I must go build a raft.
Yeah. Now that I've heard him read the very painful, hurtful poem, he's certainly going to die.
And Leonard pulls Father Brown aside and says,
take care of my wife.
Take care of my wife. She's one of yours.
If something happens to me. Okay, he doesn't say it like he's in the Wild West.
No.
She's one of yours. Take care of my wife. If some varmint takes me out. That's how you said it.
Yeah, I did.
And we also learned that he used to be a doctor on Harley Street, which means he was a successful doctor. He wasn't just any old GP. He was a high-class doctor.
Well, we also learned that if you're a man, you're a hypochondriac.
That's what Lady Felicia says.
That's weird. It was so weird to say.
Yeah.
Because the stereotype is that man will be like, oh,
I don't need to go to the doctor.
I know my arm is dragging behind me on a thin thing of skin, but I don't need to go see the doctor.
I'd say it says more about her experience.
Yeah.
The specific men she's been around
Do
and
you
what they're
think
like.
Monty is a bit of a hypochondriac?
I wouldn't know. He's never around. Ever around.
No, he shows up.
I know.
Eventually, but not
barely.
right now.
Leonard is so concerned that Martha is so unhappy.
Yes.
And yet he doesn't do the first thing he could do that would immediately improve her chances of being happy, which is to get that moron out of their house.
Yeah.
Like, how can he be that stupid? I just don't know why she's so upset.
Well, they're going to create a copulation center. I mean...
A levitation center. I mean, a meditation center. Dude, all you have to do to get the ball rolling is get Violet out.
Yes.
That's going to help right off the bat.
But she'll pout or pass out.
I don't care what she does.
Yes.
As long as she does it somewhere else.
She does know her stuff about the yoga, though. What she says here that about the sutras, that's all.
Does she really?
I don't.
Or does she just know what Leonard's told her lately?
Yeah. She probably just knows.
I don't know what he sees in her. I don't understand what that relationship is supposed to be about because he seems, well, we know he's educated. He's intelligent. He's not the best person. Okay. We'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
But
it's salacious and she's
vapid
young
and horrible.
Eager and not his wife.
I suppose. But there's a lot of women who would fit that category that aren't her.
Oh, I know.
Who might have a little bit of class.
I think maybe he's run into problems because he got hooked up with her. I was just, the first time I saw this, I was waiting for the moment, and thank God this moment never came, where she says, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, that would have added a whole nother level of complication.
It would have absolutely done that.
Okay,
I have a question.
Oh, I have a question for you. You ask first. Go ahead.
My question is, can you grow tropical plants in England?
Yes.
How?
You'd be surprised what they can grow there because it's actually very maritime.
Okay.
There's not that much fluctuation in their temperature.
Okay.
That's why Q is there.
Okay.
I mean, they do have hot houses and stuff.
Like they don't have palm trees.
No, but you can grow quite a bit.
Can you grow a pineapple there? What about coconuts?
Probably no, not without a greenhouse.
Okay.
But you can grow things like rhododendron that would die in the frost here.
That's true. And Parsons Pink, which is a rose.
But I have a better question for you. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Mine's controversial.
Okay.
But related.
Okay.
They go for a walk.
Yes.
To give Leonard and Martha some space.
Yes.
And Mrs. M takes a cutting from a plant.
Yes.
Is that theft?
Yes.
Wow, you didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't kill the plant.
No.
But it's still theft?
It's theft if you want to be a persnickety bastard about it. And certainly if she came on the property with that intent.
She brought her snips with her.
She did do that.
Because they used them later to cut Leonard down. She's got her pruning snips with her.
Oh,
in her bag.
I hate that part.
If only she had, like a little dish of potting soil in there or rooting hormone to wrap around the base of the cutting.
I do recognize this is an estate, though we don't know where he gets his money. But, how do they get lost? I would have been like, the house is right there.
I think Mr. Harris kind of leads them around purposefully trying to, and no, they might have a maze. Who knows? But old ladies' purses are kind of amazing.
Yes.
Mrs. M definitely comes prepared to take some trimmings.
Yes, she does.
Some cuttings.
I have a note here that says, is Violet crazy?
Does your mom's older? Does she carry strange things in her bag? Or did your grandmother carry strange things in her bag?
No, they were very, very, very regular ladies.
My grandmother's purse was amazing. We called it the McDLT bag. Do you remember the McDLT?
Yes. There was one side cold, one side hot.
Yeah. It was a hamburger from McDonald's that came in a container that had two separate compartments.
Yes.
So that the lettuce, tomato, and onion were kept separate from the hot hamburger and the cheese, and you put them together to eat it, right?
Yes. Back when they were in styrofoam.
If people don't remember that, I have to explain it. My grandmother's purse had two big sections in it.
Yes.
And we called it the McDLT. Because every time we went out to dinner, she would fill it with leftovers from the meal.
You see, that's the problem. My mother and my grandmother never went out for dinner.
So she would take every condiment packet on the table, salt, pepper, sugar, everything. She said, if it's here, they intended for us to use it, so I can take it. So she had every sweetener and seasoning you could imagine in her bag.
So if you needed them in another location.
You never know when you might need it, right?
Never know.
Some sweet and low or whatever. But she also had Ziplocs, little sheets of foil. I mean, everything she needed. And if it was warm food, she would pack it away and put it in one side of her purse. And if it was cold, she would put it in the other side of her purse.
That's fantastic.
She also carried sweetener packets in her bra, too. So, she was different. She was awesome. So I'm not really surprised that Mrs. M has her pruning shears in her purse.
The poor kitty cat.
You mean the tripping hazard?
Yes.
Because they only find it because Lady Felicia goes ass over tea kettle tripping on it.
It's got white stuff around his nose. It's the cocaine cat.
Can you I couldn't even tell what part of it that was.
No.
Father Brown just pokes it with his umbrella.
But then
what's that?
He at least says a prayer for the
that
poor.
cat was just inside hissing at people, and now it's stiff.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to believe that Leonard snuck away in that time and poisoned it to see what the dosage would be for a cat?
Did you do any research on that plant?
No.
Okay.
Nor did I do any research on poisoning cats.
First of all, if you're intending to kill yourself, does it matter how much poison you intake?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you don't want to take an inadequate amount.
Okay. There is nearly no amount of this poison that is inadequate.
If you look at it, you drop dead.
Very close. So the whole cat thing is jiggery pokery.
Unnecessary, huh?
Yeah.
It's just a tripping hazard.
Yeah.
I know that at one point in my yard, I grew castor plants because I thought they were beautiful. And my next door neighbors tried to force me to cut them down because of the castor beans.
Yeah.
And that's what castor oil is made out of.
Yes.
But it's also what ricin is made out of.
Yes.
I was like, but do you know how much you have to refine it to get it to that point? I'm not doing that. And if you eat the bean, you're not going to die.
Yeah. It's more like if you eat the bean of this plant, you're going to die.
If you lick it, you're dead.
Yeah.
Because they have a whole poison garden there.
How can he? Okay. How can he know that, it's enough to kill the cat? It could kill me. Are you a cat?
Well,
do you weigh the same as a cat?
No. He probably said, the cat weighs 10 pounds. I weigh 200 pounds. So I must take 20 times the dose that I gave the cat.
Quickly.
He is a doctor.
Okay. He's also the worst human being on the planet.
Well, yeah.
For another number of reasons. My one I want to talk about right now is if I ask you to model for a picture for me naked for days.
You better be painting me.
I better be painting you, not my wife. How pissed must she be?
Violet uncovers that painting and it's just Martha's big face looking back at her.
I'm like, what could be worse?
It could be worse if it was Violet's naked body with Martha's face on it.
No.
Martha's body with Violet's face.
Martha's body with the cat's face. Or Martha's body with Violet's body with Harris's face.
Yeah, so it could be worse. I think I'd be pretty mad. I'd be like, wait a minute.
Well, she has a right to be
Why
mad.
was I laying there cold all that time, uncovered?
Yeah.
When you were just painting something else. It is a nice painting of Martha and all of her anguish, though.
It is a nice painting, but there is the weirdness of them finding Leonard's hanging, and we'll get through this as quickly as possible. They all, and I don't know if this is intentional, but they all show no emotion while Violet shows over emotion.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's intentional, but it sure feels
I
like.
think it is because it shows the impact he had on everybody around him. Varma expected him to die.
Yep.
Saw it coming. Martha is so heartbroken that she has no emotional reaction. Harris hated him anyway.
Yeah.
And Violet falls apart.
Well, you know what this episode needs? Smokey the Bear.
Otherwise known as Valentine.
Smokey the Valentine.
Poor Valentine.
They're clearly like, there's a meeting. How can we get Valentine more character development? We'll make him smoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you this is the only episode in which he smokes.
Probably.
And he smokes like in every scene almost, and then it's just done. Because like stuff like that in 2013, I bet you had to be approved by BBC head office.
Probably. But they probably have clearance for things that are set at different time periods where it's more acceptable.
Maybe. Like the undercurrent of racism in this episode.
They probably had rules like, as long as it's not a child, it's okay to smoke in things set in the 50s. However, if you go back to like Dickens' era, even kids can smoke. It's okay.
Okay.
Because that's how it was.
I do love how Valentine quotes the Bible.
Back at Father
Brown here.
Gee,
Well,
Father Brown's always telling him how to do his job.
And they're far more collegial here.
Yeah.
He's like,
he softens it
he's
up.
like, you're involved in this. I can't really tell you to leave.
Yeah,
like,
you were here when it happened.
You're here when it happened.
Literally.
And
this is the second time somebody has died while Father Brown was basically in the house.
Yeah, he's the killer.
Him and Joyce have it figured out.
So then I'm off on one of my wild goose chases because there's a scene in which Valentine tells a sergeant to tell the doctor that he can leave.
Yeah.
There's that weird hand on his shoulder that
on Valentine's shoulder?
On the sergeant's shoulder.
Oh.
That we've decided is Father Brown.
I don't know.
Maybe I think it's either Father Brown or the doctor.
No, why would he tell him if he was right there? Why would he tell the...
It's weird. Somebody puts their hand on the sergeant's shoulder.
But it's not Valentine's hand.
No, he's looking at Valentine.
Could his arm be like out of scene and back in?
Valentine is now Mr. Plastic.
Yes, he's got super stretchy arms. And then
that's what happens when you smoke too many cigarettes.
Your arms get stretchy. Maybe one of our
and
listeners.
Now I'm imagining the painting with super stretchy arms.
Big, long, loopy arms like tied in a knot above her head.
So, I was like, is this Goodfellow?
No, Goodfellow is not in these episodes. I know you like him. He's a sergeant later.
I like him. He's a sergeant later, but I wanted
you see
to
one hand
check.
And you're like, is that Goodfellow? Is
the
it
sergeant,
Sid?
we see all of him. He's an older gentleman. Okay.
It's not Sid's hand either.
It's not Sid's hand.
In the credits, Sid's hand, played by
Sid.
A mannequin hand.
Yes, the cat gets no credit.
So Felicia, Mrs. M, and Father Brown go to the study. And Father Brown starts looking at Leonard's writing desk, figures out that he's left-handed, figures out that he could not have tied the noose, and starts to put things together and says to the other two, tells Mrs. M, gather everybody together. I want to talk to them. No one must be left alone. Then he and Mrs. M storm out of the room, leaving Felicia alone with a twisted ankle. Now, don't leave anybody alone. And then they just leave her alone.
This is the best written scene of the episode to me because it takes advantage of the medium. Because you can show Father Brown figuring this out while Mrs. M and Lady Felicia are bickering back and forth.
Yes.
So you have two things going on at once. And you're keeping in your head, oh, they're bickering. And you're listening to that.
Over the tea not
but
being right.
But you're watching Father Brown.
Uncrumple paper.
Paper. Now, it's more filmic than it is television. Because in television, usually in writing, you say what you're doing or do what you or say what you did almost right away.
They would say,
because
why
people,
are you looking through Leonard's writing desk? What are you trying to figure out?
Because people don't watch television as closely as they do movies.
Yeah.
But it's a piece of filmic things here that I actually enjoyed quite a bit.
So we find out that Leonard could not have hung himself because of the way the knot is tied right over left.
Yes.
Which to me means if that's all it takes to throw suspicion onto somebody else, if you are going to take your own life and you want somebody else to get blamed, tie the knot with the other hand.
Now,
tie it upside down and then flip it around.
We later learned the person who hung Leonard, though Leonard was already dead because he had committed suicide, was the lawyer.
Yes.
And he did this.
Well, he says, I murdered Leonard. And Violet says, are you sure? Because I really want it to be Martha.
Yeah.
So are you wrong?
So he does it because he thinks Martha will eventually do it.
And he's afraid Martha will do it.
He's a lawyer. He works for a big firm that may have been created in the 15th century. Is he not like a detail-oriented person?
He's still a human.
Yeah, but
even if he has been practicing law for 500 years.
I would have thought that he would have got a few more of the details correct.
I think in the heat of the moment, I think he wasn't thinking.
Yes.
And just tried to do it as quick. I mean, he used a curtain rope, a tie back for the drapes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he sees how distraught Martha is.
Maybe.
He doesn't know that Martha has just been told by her husband that the medicine he prescribed her while she was pregnant caused the death of their child.
Yes.
Like, she's just learned some really traumatic information.
Yeah.
Would that have pushed her to kill him? I don't think so. That's not the kind of person she is, I don't think. If she wanted to kill him, she would have killed him the moment he brought Violet home, because I certainly would have.
And if I was a lawyer representing her, I would say maybe the police should not have interviewed everyone together in the same room. Because they do, and everyone contributes to the interview.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to separate these people.
Find out where they were.
No one is separated.
No, just
But
talk
if you
to them
separate everybody, the principals can't be there to comment on your testimony.
Right. So Leonard left the house to Martha, but everything else goes to Varma. And he says he's going to donate it to a charity, which we later find out is true.
Yep.
And Harris thinks he kills Leonard because, like you said, he's afraid Martha's going to do it.
Yeah.
He loves Martha. And I think he thinks Leonard deserves it.
And then we have a scene that is Academy Award worthy.
Oh, yeah. The conversation between Father Brown and Martha in her room it's tragic and heartbreaking, but it is so well done.
So well done. Completely wrong for this show. I think they probably looked at that and went, that's not the way we want to go.
I dare somebody to watch that scene, especially when Father Brown says Olivia.
Yeah.
And she says, I never hear anybody say her name.
Yeah.
And he says it again. I dare somebody to watch that scene and not tear up.
Yeah.
It is extremely effective. But it's not the Father Brown show that we know and love. It's a bit heavy for this show. But it is very well done if you're going to do this storyline. I'll give them that.
We have also learned an important plot and character detail. Mrs. M sucks at checkers. Varma's like,
he's just jumping. Quadruple king me.
And he goes, beginner's luck.
Beginner's luck, yeah. You mean...
That's the tone for the rest of the show.
Playing against a moron's luck.
Yeah.
We also learned that Lady Felicia has a level of patience and toleration that we have not seen before because she voluntarily offers Violet to stay with her until she can reach her parents.
Yes.
And I don't care how big her house is, Violet is going to eat the scenery in their house.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want her in my house for 5 minutes.
So just to clean off the rest of the slate, Leonard commits suicide and then the lawyer tries to kill him, not knowing he's dead already.
Right. That's what we're fairly sure that's what happened.
Yeah.
They say that they have to have a toxicology report to prove that's what happened, and that if that is what happened, Harris will probably get away with it. Nothing, they'll have to release him because you can't be imprisoned for killing somebody who's already dead.
Yes. And the wife is going to kill herself, but Father Brown stops her.
Yes.
And then Father Brown has a nice, quick conversation with Varma where he says, I misjudged you. And
Varma's clearly willing to take care of Martha and help her.
Yes. He turns out to be a wonderful person who's going to give the money that he inherited to charity.
Lepers.
And cares about the people who Leonard left behind.
Yep.
I think he's a wonderful person.
And
I love when Mrs. M mentions the Girl Guides. And
Lady
Felicia's like,
I was more interested in Boy Scouts.
I was more interested in Boy Scouts.
Well, and Violet's letting her true character show by blowing her nose on her Madonna gloves.
Yeah.
She's so tacky. And they have a little funeral. So, best corpse, all we have is Leonard.
Yep.
Not very impressive, but we don't have any other options.
No.
Let's talk about after the credits, because I think there's some interesting things here.
There are some interesting things.
We know that Varma is going to help Martha.
So there's a little funeral that happens, and Olivia gets her name on the gravestone, which is what should happen.
Yeah,
Do you
otherwise,
think she spreads?
I thought it was where they buried their last cat.
Yes.
The first time I saw it, until, you understand what happened.
Are those Lenny's ashes
Yes.
that she puts? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it's, again, the world's most liberal Catholic priest, because he speaks in Latin and Varna speaks in Sanskrit or Hindu. And I think that was a nice way to end things.
I do too. And I do think that it's believable that Varma and Martha will get along.
So Lenny leaves her the house and the grounds, I'm assuming. So that's a fair amount of money.
Or just a great big expense.
But I also think Varma would be like,
we need to set aside enough money to take care of this place.
Would you like me to stay on as the gardener?
Yeah.
I don't know how he knows about this leprosy charity since he came from India with Leonard, but that's okay. I think that instead of giving all the money to charity, that they'll maybe set up an orphanage or something. I think they'll probably do something with children. So.
Will Violet's parents want her back?
Oh, I don't know if I would.
They're probably happy to get rid of her.
I had a question also about, okay, so Violet goes back with her parents and maybe goes to a finishing school or finishes a year of college or something and meets another young, nice man and has to explain to her what she's been doing for the last year. Well, I lived at an estate. And a man there was painting me naked, and I had an affair with him and wrote really bad poetry. And then
his wife was in the house, but then he killed himself.
But
another guy tried to kill him.
Like, no one is going to last through that first date.
No. Nobody's going to make it through that story.
Pew! Do her parents take her back? Yes, of course, because that's a parent's job.
Is it?
Yes.
Maybe they send her away to a school.
Maybe.
Will Harris go to jail?
I think Harris...
Could they charge him with interfering with a dead body?
Yes.
He'd have to know that he was dead.
I think because he's a member of the court, he's going to get a suspended sentence because the judge would know him probably.
Yeah.
And say... Or his firm.
But that might hurt his reputation.
They've been around since 1066. So I think it would hurt his Like, I don't think he might be a lawyer anymore that goes to court. But I think he's definitely...
He'd be a specialist on how to kill a dead body.
Now,
if they have any clients like that.
What's not going to happen is he's not going to get together
with Martha. Oh, gosh, no.
Because he wants to, and she will have nothing to do with it.
Gosh, no.
Yes.
No, because whether he knew it or not, I mean, he was trying to murder her husband.
Yes.
And she did love Leonard.
Yes.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
He's broken scum, but...
I realize you've had a baby. Even if you had the most perfect, wonderful, gorgeous baby. Oh, I'm going to India for 3 months. Like, wow.
No.
Before she's even home from the hospital.
No. He's right out.
Bad dude. It's not a good player.
Well, he's just weak.
Yeah. He's very weak.
Oh, on that happy note, that's the end of The Wrong Shape. I'm kind of glad it's over.
The title was just...
It's bad.
Why is it titled? I'm glad we're getting through these ones that are original Father Brown stories because they're kooky and bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have season 1, episode 4, The Man in the Tree.
Is it more fun than this one?
I think so.
Wouldn't anything be
I think so.
more fun?
So on the 20th, we have season 1, episode 4, The Man in the Tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 27th of November, we have our second remix episode. And we got some ideas about how to remix the episodes a little better from the Reddit folks. And
thank you.
It will be season 1, episode 5, The Eye of Apollo.
Mm-hmm. The culty cult.
Culty cult.
It's not as good as the Midsummer Cult.
No. The Oblong Society.
No, the first one.
Oh, the first one.
They have the pyramids on their heads and everything.
The medium is channeling the Roman.
Yes. Leviticus Rictus or whatever his name is.
Well, and then there's the Poirot, the mirror one, where the wife is also...
That's the one with the dog. What's his name? Robert?
No. It's not the one with the dog. It's the one with the mirror that he gets outbid at the first.
Oh, that's right.
And they go to his house and
that's
that guy
a different
gets killed.
one.
Yeah.
That's a different one. This is what happens, people. You watch too many murder shows and they all get muddled up in your head.
You can find Mystery Maniacs on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and email.
And we have a subreddit.
And YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe.
It helps us. It helps more people find us.
Helps more people find us.
Until then,
bye, Maniacs.
Bye, Maniacs.
She went to Lady Felicity's finishing school.
Okay.
Was it her?
Stop.
Yeah.
Back up.
Felicia.
Her name's Felicia. And no.
Okay. Then there's...
So do you want to start that over again?
Yes.